welcome to Your Hometown Solutions. I'm your host, Jean Newell, and in the studios with me today is my co-host with the most, Jonathan Lack.
Well,
welcome,
thank you,
Jonathan.
Jean, and it's great to be back.
We're all excited because real estate is our middle name. Is that your middle name, Jonathan?
Jonathan Real Estate Lack.
There we go. I'm always excited to have Jonathan on the show with me because he's not only a talented co-host, but he is a wealth of information. So I want to tell a little bit about his businesses, because if you have any kind of real estate requirements, or you are interested in some kind of a real estate venture, he has 3 different types of businesses that will probably be something that you'd be interested in finding out more about. The first one is Lack & Lack Chartered Attorneys at Law. He specializes in real estate, and that's Jonathan D. Lack. And the other service that he has is Waterview Title Services, where you are the owner and researcher of Waterview Title Services, and you are the broker-owner of Waterview Realty Services, LLC, all in Melbourne Beach. So we've got the real estate market tied up.
Right, Jean. What I like to provide to the clients is full service real estate advice. If you're buying, if you're selling, whatever you're doing with real estate, I'm hoping I can provide a service for you.
Exactly. And I think the starting point might be, especially if you're maybe new to selling again, maybe you haven't sold a home or purchased a home in a while, and you're not too sure your circumstances, if you just need a real estate agent at that point, or maybe you need a little bit more advice, and a real estate attorney might be the first place to start with. And you'll take calls over the phone and see if that you can help them out.
Absolutely. I can be reached at area code 321-953-5115, and I'll be happy to assist with any questions you have.
And you can also go to lacklaw.com. And there you can also get your contact information. It's Jonathan Lack. We're always happy to have you here, because there are circumstances that we're seeing right now where you need the advice of perhaps a real estate attorney, and as opposed to necessarily a broker, a real estate broker. Of course, we're there to help you as well. But one of the things we're going to highlight today is that flipping of homes, because we're seeing a lot of real estate ventures right now where people are buying the distressed properties, flipping them out, and then having them staged, and then they're beautiful and they are able to sell at a profit. And we're happy to have in our studios today.
Well, we are, yes, pardon me.
I threw that to you.
Yeah. We are welcoming back Lisa Pelk, an expert home stager with Bella Casa Staging and Design. And welcome, Lisa. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having us.
We were. She was on last week, and we had so many calls because staging is what it's all about. And we want to touch base a little bit about your show, and then we're going to go into how you can maximize someone's home that is selling. We're very fortunate, because of your talents, to be on a national staging show like the HGTV shows that you see, the Property Brothers and Sell This Home and Design on a Dime and all those. You actually got chosen from a long list of potential stagers to stage and I always like to call it flipping zombies, but it's called zombie house flipping. And I caught one of the shows on Saturday on A&E, and it was great.
Thank you. Yeah, Zombie House Flipping is a show about flipping houses in Orlando, Florida. And the investors and the real estate agents, there's 2 realtors and there's 2 investors that do all the work before I come in and actually give them some advice on, colors and what to actually use within the property to stage it when they're all completed and finished.
I think a lot of people are kind of confused on staging. They think you're just going to come into my house and help me stage with the furniture I have. And that's one of the things you can do.
Right.
But you have an entire warehouse filled with furniture. And so you can go into a new home, or even a home that's been modified or renovated, and completely stage it for that particular house. So you don't have to go out and just buy special staging furniture. You have everything ready. Do you have a lot of different types of designs and so forth in your warehouse?
Yeah, we do. So we do. We have our warehouse is over 2,000 square feet, and we have speed racks of furniture and accessories. And then we have a climate controlled portion of our warehouse that has all the linens and bedding and pillows and things like that, the things so they stay nice and, fresh. And we do both. We do both owner occupied. So we can come in and advise somebody who is actually living in their house and they want to prepare it to sell. We will use what they have. We'll tell them what to get rid of, and then we'll use what we tell them to keep, and we will re-merchandise all of their stuff to where it looks beautiful and highlights the flow and the architecture of the house, because we're selling the house and not their stuff.
I know you were saying that everybody likes to fast forward to these staging shows because it's that before and after. You have a whole hour show and you're seeing them knock down walls. You see all the grime and the dirt and all the grungy stuff, and in the last 5 minutes, voila, it's a beautiful home. And people love those before and after pictures.
And that is interesting. And I think some people are a little confused on really what's involved in staging a vacant house. Mm-hmm. So we also do vacant properties. We work with people who flip homes and investors, and also people who are just selling the house that they've moved out of, or it's an investment property of theirs and they're no longer interested in it, so they're selling it. And it's moving a house in and moving a house out. There's a lot of labor involved. There's a lot of coordination involved. And, and staging is an investment. It's an investment that will reap very large rewards. So and here's how I tell people about, would you invest in staging? So if you gave me $1,000 and I said, guess what? In 30 days, I'm going to give you $2,000 back. Mm-hmm. Would you take me up on that offer?
All the time.
That's 100% return on your investment.
Exactly.
That's exactly what staging does for a property, either if it's vacant or owner occupied. It is hiring a professional that has a creative eye and knows what buyers are looking for. Because we do research on the buyer demographic per neighborhood. And that's how we identify what to put into the house, how much, what size, what color, and that will appeal to that buyer demographic. And so that's exactly what it does. Our houses sell for top dollar and very quickly. 96% of the properties that we stage sell in less than 30 days.
Exactly. And I wanted to talk to Jonathan on this because you handle a lot of the investors that come into you to help you. You help them find the distressed properties and so forth.
I represent a lot of investors who are buying the distressed property and then turning around and renovating it and selling it. And we talked a little bit about this last week. So those of you who missed the show, check out talknetworkradio.com and look for us archived. You can hear last week's show. But a lot of these investors come in and then they'll go ahead and make the renovations and then flip the properties and make some profit. But their decisions may not be as high quality as the decisions you might make, Lisa, because, again, you're a expert home stager as opposed to just a contractor who's going out there and saying, let me just throw some tile and paint on the walls and get this place flipped. And you can probably assist these investors in making even more on their investment.
Exactly. And I know, we didn't mention it the last couple of weeks, but most people think they can only find property for sale in the MLS, and they start searching Trulia and Zillow and Realtor.com and so forth, or they can go to our website and actually search properties in Broward and Brevard County as well. Give out that website.
The real estate company, Waterview Realty Services, we're actually in the process of revamping our website. The site we have now is fine and good and functional, which is waterviewre.com. That's WATERVIEWRE.com. And at waterviewre.com, you can search our listings as well as all the listings throughout South Florida area, which includes Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, as well as all of Brevard County, which is our local home area here.
Exactly. Well, I think the thing I always tell people, there are two lists for real estate houses for sale. One is the MLS, which you can go online, and then there's the secret list.
Well, the secret list, as you whisper so secretly, is A lot of people refer to it as pocket listings. You have real estate agents, real estate companies, or in my case, an attorney's office, where we have clients who are looking to sell their house. And when you have a market such as ours, sometimes it's relatively easy to get the home sold. So instead of putting it out on the MLS and having the additional fees involved to a buyer's agent to pay for the property, the seller pays the buyer's agent to sell their property, we can sell it all in-house, and it saves our seller some money. And of course, if you're a buyer looking for properties, we often have properties that have not actually hit the MLS or hit the open market.
Right. What I was referring to too is the fact that a lot of people come to you because they have a home in probate, and so they have to wait out 6 months or a year for the probate to be finished. Or they have a home that they're just about ready to go into foreclosure, and you're helping them with a foreclosure defense. But within a couple months or 6 months down the road, that home's probably going to be sold or a short sale. So you have these lists of things that are going to be coming up, and then you have the list of investors that say, put me on the list, and if you ever get anything in India Atlantic or Melbourne Beach or Vieira in this price range, give me a call. So sometimes we put buyers and sellers together before they ever even get close to being an MLS.
Absolutely. Again, we do have investors who are looking for properties, so if somebody comes to me, we might be able to say, oh, look, I've got somebody who will buy it, and they'll buy it at fair price. We're not talking about a seller having to sell it for less than its value, because the investors will buy it at a fair value, right, and then they'll improve it and sell it. Or a lot of investors are holding on to properties and renting them. So again, it's a good way when I have a seller, as you say, a probate situation. So somebody's passed away and the family lives up north and they need to sell the home. We know that's coming onto the market. We help them with the probate, and then we get it sold before it ever has to hit the MLS, saving the seller some money and, of course, getting a buyer a good deal at the same time.
Well, that's why people always say to me, Jean, give me a call as soon as you see one of these homes for sale. Well, things are selling so fast that if they don't have kind of an in with a bank or a real estate agent or someone that knows some of these things coming up, I have lost a couple sales this week because of the home selling in one day. And we just didn't get a chance to put the contract in time, which is a whole nother show on.
They must have been staged homes.
That's right. They were actually. They were staged.
It works.
Because, Lisa, people do not have an imagination. Unfortunately, they visualize everything too small. I can have people standing in an empty home in a very large master bedroom, and they cannot visualize where that bed's going to be placed or if it's even going to hold a king-size bed.
And that's an interesting point, and I'll tell you why that is. And I hear that every day, that, they can't visualize. And there's really a neurological reason in our brains, because our brain needs data points. It doesn't have to be the whole picture, but we need a specific amount of data points to connect the dots to create the picture, because our brain fills in the gaps. So it's almost like, remember those dotted dots when we were kids? Mm-hmm. So sometimes you're like, oh, I know what this is after you did half of it, because your brain sees the dots and the lines, and that's exactly what staging does. It creates those data points, enough data points, so that the buyer who's walking in can fill in the picture, meaning they can see where the furniture goes and they can visualize themselves living in that space. Exactly. And it's funny, because I've even had investors that they flipped this house in Melbourne Beach. It was a $900,000 house. They had that same thought. People were saying, I don't know where the bed's going to go. And they got blue painter's tape and they outlined where the bed would go, the correct dimensions. And it still did not help buyers understand the space, because that wasn't enough data for your brain to fill it in.
Well, that's why it's so important to be able to call you, because you'll come out for a consultation to start with. So you'll have an hourly or 2-hour consultation, and then they can make that decision whether to use what they already have, if it's a home that's already decorated, or do they need to clear everything out and bring something else in, or is it already an empty home? And I don't think a lot of the real estate agents out there understand marketing. And of course, we understand that it's all about marketing. You can have a gorgeous, beautiful picture or painting, but it's that frame around it that completely solidifies the whole look.
So it's interesting. Yesterday, I did a consultation on a condo in Melbourne Beach, and the realtor was going to be the one hiring us to stage the property. And he said, well, for this one room, what if I just put a picture on the wall? Would that help people understand? And I said, okay, you're still not giving them enough data points. So this is the analogy I used. I said, so if you were going to go to a black tie event, okay, black tie.
And you only wore a black tie.
And you only wore a black tie. That is exactly right. Nothing else. Guess what
popular.
people would focus on? The top. Well, they'd probably go, oh my gosh. But staging is much like that. It's like dressing. Exactly. You're dressing the home so that people can look at it and go, wow, this is beautiful, versus